Good morning everyone all across the world. Ambassador Moses Adika here, and I want to welcome you to this week's message. We are already on the third week of 2025, so time is flying, and we also need to fly with it. So first of all, allow me to congratulate each and every one of us who invited massively for the BOM that we had last Saturday. It was an event that was massive. We had crazy conversion out of that event, and I must say that this 2025, that is the way to go. Just like we maxed out that event, you remember we filled the entire 680 hotel. Some of the guests had to be trained at the headquarters. That is how we should max out everything. Remember, our theme is limitless. So whatever it is that we put our hands into, we do it, above limit. So that was well done. Congratulations everyone. And I also want to appreciate all our leaders who definitely contributed towards that event. The fact that it was free simply means somebody paid for it. So we appreciate you. We appreciate your loyalty. Let's keep on, supporting the organization so that it can grow to greater heights. Allow me to also appreciate the leaders in Eldoret. The group that is there did a very massive kickoff training. That was a huge event as well. Keep up the good work, and even the upcoming events, let's make them bigger and bigger. So today I want to handle a topic that is very dear to my heart. A topic that I know can easily, give you a paradigm shift that will get you straight, to the top, that will get you to a higher level of success this 2025, and that is your story. So my first question to you is, how do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? If probably you look back within your family setup, many of us would know the name of our grandfathers. But if I were to ask you the name of your great-grandfather, many of us would not be having that answer, or even the one that was before them, and before that, and before that. So would you like to be forgotten like some of these guys, or would you like to be remembered at the end of your life? We remember to this date some of the great historians, people like Thomas Edison. We have people like Martin Luther King, people like here in our country, people like Jomo Kenyatta. And these are people that their story continue to be told again and again and again. And I still believe generations to come are still going to talk about them. So how would you be remembered? Or in another way, will you be remembered once you are out of this world? That's a very important question. And I want to start by sharing a story of a priest who was interviewed, and he mentioned that in his career as a priest, he had prayed for over 1,000 people who were on their deathbeds, and for each person that he prayed for, he went ahead to ask them probably what was the biggest regret of their lives. And when these people were asked this question, many of them didn't mention the things they did. Many of them are very regretful about the things that they never did. Probably that business idea they had, but they never did anything about it. Probably a job they could have gotten, but they let it slide. Probably someone they loved, but they never mentioned even a word to them. Probably something they could have done in a bigger way, but they decided to do it in a smaller way. And just like many of these guys, some of us, when we get to the end of our lives, we may regret, some of the things we are not doing now, because we still have the time. We are still very privileged to be alive. that means God still has, a lot of things for us to do. And many of us, the chance or the opportunity that we have in our hands, we are currently joking with it. We are currently doing nothing with it. And I want to remind each and every one of us that you got into the business for a reason. I believe God would have not shown you this kind of business if there was nothing big that you are coming to do in it. So this 2025, I want you to realize in our minds that our time is now. There is no other time. We have to rise up, we have to seize the moment, and we have to do whatever it takes now, because nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows, how much time they are left with. But the time that we have right now, this day, this month, this week, this year, probably that is what we can count on. So we have to make 2025 a better year. We have to make 2025 a year that we can always talk about even in the future, a year that we can remember. And to make this year your best year ever, I believe there are 2 or 3 things that we can maximize on to actually realize that dream or that goal. And to start with, we need to use our time wisely. We need to use our time wisely because if you look back into this year, 2 weeks are already gone, and those 2 weeks will never come back again. They are gone forever. Before you know it, we'll be in June. Before you know it, we'll be in November. Before you know it, we'll be celebrating another year. And just like 2024, some of us will be very much surprised. How comes you never hit the goals, the dreams that you had for this year? How comes this and this and this didn't happen? It was because probably you are not very attentive to realize whatever you are supposed to do within this year. So we have to use our time very wisely. We have to maximize every single minute that we have. We have to maximize every opportunity that we get. And I want you to look at those people that succeed in our business. These people have been given the same amount of time. Every one of us have 24 hours in a day. But what separates those who do so well from the rest of us is the way we use that time that we have. So everyone has 24 hours, everyone has, the same minutes every day, same seconds every day. But some of us decide to use it wisely, some of us decide to waste it. And there's a famous saying in network marketing that if you are going to give it about 3 to 5 years, definitely it will work for you. That 3 to 5 years, it has factored in, the time that you are going to waste, the time that you are going to be unserious with your business, the time you are going to be switched off. And if you can just use your time wisely, if you can just maximize each and every hour in your business, then you don't need to take 3 to 5 years. Within a span of like 1 year, many of us could be doing a lot of, big income. Many of us could have already maxed out, the accounts. Maybe one of your accounts will be making the maximum amount of money that it can make. So we have to use our time wisely if we want to get better results. If I go back to, when we got started, I personally remember my upline, Francis Njoroge, within, less than 6 months, this guy was already maxing out. And it was because of the way we probably used our time that year. It was because of the hunger that we had. It was because of the way we were approaching our business in totality. Personally, I flashed out my account, my first account, after 7 months of joining the business. That means in a single cycle, I did 8 of 8 pairs that time. And this is something that any of you who is listening to my voice right now can actually do. So let's use our time wisely. When you wake up in the morning, account for the time that you are going to be having that day. Account for every hour, account for every activity that you plan to do that day. And trust me, you'll start seeing more productive days. You'll start seeing more productive weeks. And definitely your months are going to be better, because time is the most precious commodity that we have. You know, gold is precious, but gold can always be, reproduced under the earth, under intense pressure. But then time, once it's gone, it is gone. If today you are 25, next year you'll be 26, you cannot go back to 25 again. So the time that we have right now, let us use it wisely. Let us not waste any of it. Let's try to put it into productive activities that can help us to get better in life. Then of course we must also have a sense of urgency. We must also have a sense of urgency. If we are not in a hurry to do things within a certain time frame, then definitely we won't do them. In this particular area, I want us to practice, living our lives or doing our business day by day. Before you go to bed in the evening, probably sit down and plan the following day. Plan the activities that you are going to be doing. Put down some goals for that day. You might have a big goal that might take you up to October, but can you reduce this goal into a shorter span, like a single day? Because once you have goals, the urgency kicks in, because goals are dreams with a deadline, You now have given it a time frame that I have to do this within this particular time. So we must reduce all these big goals, all these big dreams that we guys are having for this year into smaller goals that can be achieved today. And trust me, if you can win every single day, then your year is going to be won. If you can win every single day, trust me, you are going to write a new story. You are going to have a totally different story to tell. And there's a possibility that you can write that story. There's a possibility that you can change that story that you've had completely. Probably you want to lose weight. Probably you want to live a healthier life. It is possible this year. Probably you wanted to become a top earner. You wanted to max out our entire system. You wanted to be among, the top stories within the company. These things are very possible. You wanted to become a better upline, a better downline, a better team player, a better father, a better mother, a better brother, a better sister, a better human being. All these things are possible. So you have to be very deliberate about the story that you're going to be creating this year. And all these things are possible. You just have to be intentional. You just have to go for it. You just have to put in that work that you need to put in. And I believe everything is going to fall into place. Lastly, as I come to the end, I want you to remember that in this kind of business, you are the director of your story. You are the author of your story. At the same time, you are the actor. So there is no limitation. Whatever you have to do to make your story change this year, let's go and do it. Let's go and do it. If you can create some impact, let's go and do it. If there is something better that you can do, let's do it. But by all means, let's create a story that we will be remembered for. Let's create a story that will be shared on stages. Let's create a story that our downlines would be very enthusiastic to share, probably with their guests or their prospects, to inspire them that indeed it is possible. All these big things that we want, all the impact that we want to create in the world, all these things are possible, but we have to be very intentional that we want to change our story, because we want to be remembered in a different way. We want to be remembered by generations to come. We want our impact to outlast the life that we are going to live. So decide to create a better story. Decide to become a better networker. Decide that your story is going to be mentioned in halls, in events, in big hotels, in the internet. Decide that the internet is going to describe who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, I am looking forward to hear your successful story this 2025. Remember, as I say, to create that story, you have to use your time wisely, because time is the most precious commodity that we have. Once it is gone, it is gone. And we must also create a sense of urgency each and every day. Let's approach each and every day with goals that we have set for that day, and I believe the urgency is going to kick in. We are going to achieve much more each and every day that is going to impact, our bigger story in a better way. Just a reminder, we still have our online session tonight. Just like last week, it was super hot. That was a great presentation. So we are going to have it live at 9 p.m. Invite. We'll stream it on YouTube so that the link is there. You can still use it over the entire week until we do another presentation next week on Wednesday. So take advantage of that. All your guests that are not able to come to our offices, invite them to the online meeting and let them benefit. Our next BOM is coming up here in Nairobi on 25th. Invite massively as well. Eldoret, I understand you also have one. Invite massively. And last but not least, I want to remind each and every one of us about the kickoff training for the company that will be happening on 31st of this month, on a Friday. We have very powerful speakers lined up. All my uplines are going to be sharing on that day. Many of you have not met them. You have not heard from them in a long time. And we have my able leader, that is Mr. Francis Njoroge, Top 3 Kenya, will be sharing his story and a few nuggets on how you can build a better business. Mr. CK Maina will be there, our top 2, to share his experience. This gentleman has amassed quite some wealth out of this business. You cannot afford to miss this, especially with your team. And of course myself, I'll also be there, the top 1 Kenya, to share my story plus some tips that can help you to make this year even much better. Our guest speaker for that day is Ambassador Dr. Michael Ademi, all the way from Nigeria. He's flying from Lagos just to come and speak to you. How can you miss? So make sure you mobilize your team, mobilize everyone that is serious with the business that is here in Kenya. Grab your tickets. This week they are selling for 300 shillings only. Next week the price will go up. So let's grab our tickets massively before the price goes up. Every team leader, make sure that your team is well represented. That is a very lethal lineup, and you don't want any of your team members to miss out in this event. See you guys at that event. Allow me to end it there, and I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you guys a dollar-filled week. Let's cash out, let's cash out, let's cash out, and let's do whatever it takes to cash out.